Unleash the power within. What does it feel like when you completely and permanently quit pornography? Well, the most unbelievable, unexpected, and beautiful journey of natural healing, growth, learning, and massive positive transformation begins, not only in your sexual health, but also in your overall physical, relational, mental, and emotional health. I promise you and challenge you that you have no idea what you are missing out on, and no idea how you are settling for a virtual reality that pales in comparison to what you are truly capable of realizing. When you look back on your life of pornographic addiction, you will wonder what you were waiting for and why you are fighting for a lifestyle so lacking in empowerment, potential, and promise. How is it that by simply quitting pornography and semen release, we are able to reach our fullest potential in life? What is it on a scientific, neurological, energetic, physical, and spiritual level that can create such a powerful and potent transformation in so many seemingly separate and wide-ranging aspects of our lives? Just by simply refraining from pornography and practicing semen retention, I can tell you that this positive, tremendous force tying together all these aspects of our life emanates from the power of our mind and energy source within us. Ultimately, our mind and energy source receives its power from the healing and balanced light of God. You see, sex is not just an act of our sexual genitalia and limited simply to the physiological blood flow to the sexual region of our body. Sex is not even limited to sex alone. Sex is largely an act of the mind and has consequences which reverberate far beyond our sexual genitalia and physiology into our neurology, our energy source, our mental state, our relationships, and our success in all areas of our lives. This is what Western mainstream medicine and the pharmaceutical industry never want you to discover, learn, and heal. If you had met me, Brooke Hazen, several years ago, you would not even recognize me on a physical, energetic, and mental level. I was a shell, a corpse of the powerful being I am now. I did not have my voice you hear now, so full of knowledge, wisdom, confidence, power, potency, and magnetism. I engaged in pornography for decades, following the rise of pornography since I was an adult. The first part of my life was absent of any pornography. I naturally engaged in pornography increasingly over the last 12 years, thinking there was nothing to worry about except for the feelings of guilt and the energy crashes that would wash over me. That was until the time of my life when I noticed I was unable to get aroused sexually to my partner. This was the most confusing, humiliating, disempowering, and terrifying time of my life. I desperately looked for any way to override this erectile dysfunction. Western medicine had misled me to believe it was all from lack of sufficient blood flow to my lingam, or arteriosclerosis. So they misdiagnosed and misprescribed blood flow-inducing pharmaceutical ED drugs when I did not even have any blood flow issue. I was handed a lifetime prescription of pharmaceutical ED drugs without any plan for how to regain an empowered, natural, vibrant sexual function ever again. Millions of men are also being misdiagnosed and misprescribed pharmaceutical ED drugs just as I was. I tried all different classes of drugs, but they all caused debilitating side effects. They were highly mechanical, exacting, awkward in nature, and completely out of alignment with the creativity, empowerment, and wondrous natural process of making love. I researched how our body and these drugs actually work. I discovered that these drugs raise nitric oxide levels beyond what we are capable of producing naturally from within, making us dependent on an outside source every time we want to make love. The reason they have diminishing and eventually failing results is because these drugs do not have any healing or curative powers. They never address the root source of the problem, which continues to progress underneath the surface entirely unaddressed. During this nightmare trial of different pharmaceuticals, as well as natural ED drugs, I was falling into deep cycles of depression for weeks at a time. I was terrified that I may not come out of these bouts of depression. I was carrying multiple burdens at once: the humiliation and disempowerment of the erectile dysfunction scarlet letter that is unduly placed upon millions of men, the debilitating side effects that come with these drugs, and the overlapping dopamine crashes I was experiencing from my addiction to pornography. After the last drug had failed to provide any solutions, I realized that I had come to the end of the road. I was all on my own, with no idea what to do. So I deeply prayed to God with all of my heart and soul and every fiber of my being. I prayed over and over for a healing miracle, a healing miracle, a healing miracle. I had no choice but to completely let go of any semblance of control and ego attachment and release myself entirely into the loving, outstretched arms of God. Just as you would feel leaning over the edge of a cliff and diving into the deep blue ocean below. It was with this pure act of faith, with fervent, deep intention and concentration over and over, that stirred God to begin leading me on the most unbelievable, unexpected, and powerful journey in my life. What started as a simple prayer to restore my sexual health and performance naturally and without side effects became a journey of massive positive transformation of my entire body, mind, and soul, far beyond anything I could have ever imagined or dreamed of. God handed me the courage, power, and guidance to begin a journey of natural healing, growth, learning, and massive positive transformation in my sexual, physical, relational, mental, emotional, and spiritual health. By first leading me to the website Your Brain on Porn by Gary Wilson, God showed me how the sexual behavioral choices we make in life have the power to create either massive dysfunction or massive positive transformation in all areas of our life. I learned how our sexual, physical, relational, mental, emotional, and spiritual health is completely interconnected and interwoven and can never be separated, as Western medicine and the pharmaceutical industry want us to believe. At first, the concepts in the very informative website, Your Brain on Porn, did not fully register with me. It took a month for all the concepts to coalesce into the aha moment. I learned how watching pornography over many years overstimulates the brain. The brain's dopamine levels and receptors become depleted to the same levels they do for cocaine and morphine addicts. In fact, the brain does not even differentiate between a physical addiction, such as a drug, and a neurological addiction, such as the potent superstimulus of watching pornography. I took the porn addiction test by seeing if I could get an erection watching pornography, and then seeing if I can get an erection with just sensual pleasure alone, without pornography. I discovered that I did not have organic erectile dysfunction because I could get an erection watching pornography, but could not get an erection with just sensual stimulus alone. I actually had neurologically based erectile dysfunction. I had dramatically decreased my dopamine levels and receptors due to overstimulating my neurology with pornography. At the same time, I had desensitized my arousal to real human stimulation. This is called porn-induced erectile dysfunction, or PIED. I was a porn addict. I decided to quit watching pornography permanently with the promise of curing my porn-induced erectile dysfunction. When I say that I made the decision, I mean I really made the connection on a fundamental level, how the deep depression and profound loss of confidence I was suffering from was caused by watching pornography. I made the decision for good, and I never turned back. I have not watched pornography even once since I decided to quit. This is a critical teaching for you to understand. A deep connection and an absolute decision must be made in order to successfully quit the pornography addiction. I am calling on you to have this same hardcore level of determination that you will never watch pornography for the rest of your life. Instead, focus your sexual energy on your real relationship with your partner, not a phantom on a screen which robs you of all that is real and truly critical to a happy, fulfilling life and relationship. I began to see enormous transformations the longer I retained my semen and refrained from pornography. My energy levels, mental clarity, confidence, and moods were higher than I could remember in decades. It was one of the best feelings of my life. A brand new life of limitless possibilities had opened up for me. I made deeper discoveries, nuances, and connections as I continued honoring God's miracle given to me by learning, reading, and researching. I profoundly understood how invaluable semen retention is for sexual potency and overall energy levels. It was at this point in time that I began to realize the real miracle God was giving me was discovering these beautiful and amazing teachings, which tied my sexual healing to a holistic body, mind, and soul healing. God had set me on a path of limitless discovery, which was transforming me into the very being God wanted me to be. The light of God, which my addiction to pornography, ejaculation, and perpetual dopamine crashes had blocked for decades, was finally allowed to shine again into my body, mind, heart, and soul. Looking back now to when my beautiful journey began 4 years ago, I realized that God had so much more in store for me than settling for a permanent branding of a scarlet letter and a lifetime prescription of pharmaceutical ED drugs. When I could not find the words, God chose me to become an author, to write my book, You Are Not Broken, get invited onto 28 podcasts, and create educational YouTube videos. When I was voiceless, God chose me to be the voice for millions of men currently suffering through the same terrifying, confusing, and depressing state that I experienced. When I was rudderless, God chose me to show millions of men and women the pathway to heal their suffering and dysfunction and lead them on their own journey of massive positive transformation. When I was powerless, God empowered me to teach all of you how to reclaim your own power and become the ideal being you are truly meant to be in life. I am here today as a shining example and living testimony that you absolutely have the power to do this. You can positively transform yourself into your highest and greatest expression of creation you were born to be. I cannot state strongly enough that the key to unlocking the power within you, the launching button for your own unbelievable journey of massive positive transformation, is to permanently quit masturbation to pornography. It must start here and now. I also cannot state strongly enough that you cannot do this alone without God. Our spiritual, sexual, physical, relational, mental, and emotional health are all interwoven together as one sacred, gorgeous tapestry, each individual expressing their own unique work of art in the making. Blessings on creating your own priceless work of art, the true you. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to catch the next video.